welcome back once again to another episode of the Happy Program Impact Stories. We are building on from the conversation that we had the last time when we told you all about the Happy Program. Today, we have Mr. Danakwe with us. He's the CEO of the Agri Impacts Limited, and he's also, I would proudly say, he's also an e-learning ambassador. Yes, you heard that right. Who join us in this conversation. And just as we started earlier, today we're talking about inclusivity, making sure that no one is left out when it comes to projects such as these, and also skills acquisition, even the success and impact stories that you'd love to hear. We are going to have this conversation today. Welcome back once again, Mr. Danakwe. Today, our conversation will take a little different turn from what we discussed the last time, and it's all about making sure that no one is left out. Let me ask, how important is it for projects such as these to ensure inclusivity?
Thank you very much. Inclusivity is so important to the Happy Program. But let me say that agricultural space appears to be difficult for persons with disability. The good thing is that Happy has found a way out. And we have found that way out in a grand style. So today, we may call someone as a person with disability who was disadvantaged in the agricultural value chain. We have learned a lot of lessons implementing Happy. Our target was to have 5% of the jobs that's to be created to be with persons with disability. But what has been the journey? When we started Happy, it was difficult to enroll on persons with disability. The perception of most people with persons with disability is that when they finish school, they go to teaching, they go and do barbering, tailoring, and all that. Hardly will you find them in the agricultural value chains. Now, we also have private sector people who are more interested in profitability than what we will consider as inclusivity. And you have a program that has more interest in inclusivity. So how do you blend the two? I'll give you one example. We started working with Aglo Farms, which is a processor of broiler supplying the supermarket chains in Ghana. Initially, Aglo did not have persons with disability, so they were excluded from his chains of activities. How do we now bring inclusivity? Aglo hired persons who have hearing impairment. And we are surprised to realize that the training that he offers for people without any impairment, which takes 6 months for them to become perfect. The persons with hearing impairment takes 5 to 6 weeks, and they are already perfect. So he's cutting more than 4 months of training into optimal productivity. And within a space of less than 6 months, he has hired close to 40 persons with disability, which hitherto were excluded from his value chain. Then you take another partner of a Happy Program. I mentioned to you earlier on that the Happy Program is implemented by partners, consortium. We have National Service, we have New Age, we have MEDA, GEA, that's Ghana Enterprise Agency, Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Jobaman is also there, Catholic Relief Services, and TechnoServe. These are the implementing partners, and Agri Impact is the lead and the PMU. Now, AgroCanes also hired persons with disability. They ventured into other activities, the normal ones that we know, but before we realized the hearing impaired people were doing so wonderful in the warehouse. And that they also have a platform. So they put it on their platform that, wow, when we were in school, we're not exposed to these agricultural occupations for persons with disability. Here I come, I was a barber. I have come into a rice production and processing area, and I am in charge of the warehouse. Today, AgroKing has introduced this sign, the communication signs they use with persons with disability, and everyone at the farm is learning. And not only that, they realize that persons with hearing impairment do better in rice transplanting than persons without any impairment. So we are documenting these observations, and it is very interesting. Persons with hearing impairment do better in transplanting rice seedlings than persons without hearing impairment. You know our Ghanaian attitude. The person is working and he's talking. The person is working and is chatting. The person is working and is distracted. So what we call disability in that rice field is no longer a disability. In fact, it is super ability. So we, as Happy, we try and transform disability to super ability. Not just ability, because it's not like they are doing the same as persons with impairment, without impairment are doing. They are doing more, and they are more productive than persons without any disability. So we say that we transform disability to super ability, and we have the lessons and the evidence for people to go and see. If you go to New Age, the persons with disability are those who are doing their data entry and analysis. It's amazing. So we are thinking of now also going to the schools, school for the deaf, school for the blind, and begin to let them know that, look, when we are talking about occupational opportunities, don't limit it to teaching and barbering and tailoring and dressmaking. They have persons with disability who make remarkable impact in agricultural value chains. So that is how we target inclusivity. Of course, I will say that it is also not that easy, because to have a wholesale inclusivity requires a lot of investment. Assistive devices. You must also provide certain levels of infrastructure. Your washrooms must be redesigned. Your transportation system, you have to reconsider. The timing of services are all important. They all come in. But if the private sector sees productivity coming from that person, is willing to also make investment in these areas. But as Happy, we encourage our private sector to continue to expand space for persons with disability, and we are expanding the knowledge and the experiences that we have now to other partners and other agricultural programs that are ongoing. We just finished conducting needs assessment of persons with disability in agriculture. Needs assessment of persons with disability have been conducted all over, but targeting only agriculture. We did not cite any literature that has done that. And we are done with it. And it is very interesting to know that the needs of persons with disability in northern Ghana are totally different from those in the middle belt and different from those in the southern belt. So there is not even a wholesale solution or intervention for persons with disability, because different zones are giving us different needs. And very soon we will share the findings of our report. We also realize that the various functions within the value chain have different groupings in different belts in the country. You might go to northern Ghana, and even the choice of value chain is different. In northern Ghana, they like livestock. If you come to the southern belt, it's different. If you come to the middle belt, what they like is different. So that study has enabled us to now design specific interventions for persons with disability in the various belts that we have. We are going ahead to come up with what we call case studies for our intervention with persons with disability. And then we will be developing toolkits for persons with disability in agriculture. Hopefully by the end of July, these two things will have been completed. So that's how we address our inclusivity. And our expectation is that now that we have seen successful models, it will be easier for us to scale. What other impacts have we seen? We have seen journalists who has put aside his journalism profession and is now a rice farmer. And is getting more money in rice than in journalism.
Oh, that's good.
If you go to most of our rice fields, we have young people who did 2 hectares of rice, and they are getting net profit of between 25 and 30,000 Ghana cedis in 4 months. If they do 2 cycles in a year, they have between 50 and 60,000 Ghana cedis net profits, which translates into 5,000 cedis a month salary. So that is the impact we are making in Happy. We went to Botanga and we saw people who have moved from Accra as Kayaye, and they are now rice farmers. Why? Because in the past, if they do 1 acre rice, they get 0.8 tons. By the time you will finish selling, you have no money left. So they move down and do any work they find. Now, with the Happy intervention, what did we provide? On-time supply of starter pack, which is in the form of quality agro input. Open up access for them to have irrigated land to produce their rice, not in a rainfall-dependent manner, but on irrigation, on an irrigated land, with a permanent technical or extension provider. And then you have the logistics to transport your harvested rice to the drying area, and they buy from you. With that, they have moved their yields from 0.8 to 1.6, double. So if in the past, the 0.8 was your break-even point, now you have that same amount of money as your net profit. And other people are now moving down, going up to become rice farmers. That's the impact we create. We also look at the broiler industry in Ghana, which for like 2 decades, more or less, collapsed. Because as a country, we are able to produce less than 10% of the chicken that we consume, including me and you. We all buy dead chicken, 5 years, 3 years old, because we can't find the new ones or fresh ones. We brought intervention in the agri space, and I will use Aglo as an example. They had a factory that has been defunct for 3 years with over $3 million investments, and the factory was more or less abandoned. With our intervention, they reinvested, and as I speak today, Aglo is producing more than 100,000 broiler birds to KFC every month, and they can do more. That is transformation. And not only that, it has catalyzed the broiler industry in the country. You go to the middle belt, you have Nepo Bita, which has also catalyzed the broiler production in the Doma area of the country. They all stopped producing broiler and were focusing on layers because broiler was not profitable. But with the intervention of Happy, in fact, one company is willing to engage over 800 young people to do more than 600,000 broiler birds to supply the market. And others have reinvested. And as we speak today, there is a broiler processing facility at Doma, which in years past wasn't there. So the catalytic nature of Happy is also not just on the individual, but what we call systemic change. We have brought systemic change in the broiler industry. Then we go to another impact area that we call the mindset shift. It's been difficult for young people to get land to produce. With the intervention of Happy, now we have chiefs who release their lands for young people to farm, including young women. If you want to understand it well, you have to be a young woman trying to access land in certain parts of the country. Then you will see how difficult it is because women don't have that privilege. But with Happy and the negotiations we make, we get the chiefs, they commit and they sign too. Not just signing, but they become so excited that the young people in their communities are going to get into productive ventures and become more useful to society. So that's also a mindset shift. Then we can talk about the individual beneficiaries, countless. There are some momo vendors who are now rice producers. There are people who have not done poultry before, and they are now broiler producers. I don't even have to go far. KNUST here, you had a pig farm, which has been abandoned for almost 2 decades, 20 years. Based on Happy intervention, the university has recommitted to transform part of these pig houses into poultry houses. And in few months, they have done over 12,000. The first one was 5,000 broiler. I think now they are doing 7,000. And they are going to set up grilling centers on campus and some of the hostels around to grill fresh produced broilers for Ghanaians and the university community and those around to consume. That is a systemic change. Because for decades, 2 decades, if a structure has been there, and with the intervention of Happy, this structure has been refurbished using the university's own resources. Happy did not give university money to refurbish the structures. The university did it itself. And then Happy came in with the support of a starter pack in a form of day-old check, feed, medication, vaccination, and technical support. So that is a huge impact. And we have multiples of these impacts across the nation.
Oh, this is completely revealing, eye-opening. Thank you very much, Mr. Danokwe. I mean, as you were speaking, I was just sitting. My jaw dropped at a moment, Thanks for touching lives, especially with the inclusivity bit, because these are people, the persons with disability, these are people that we think they are of no use in society. But through your intervention, for you to have found jobs for them, I mean, it says a lot. So do you have instances where some of them have gone on to even establish businesses themselves? Are they running it? Can we hear of such stories?
multiples of them who have expanded what they were doing. If you go to some of the rice farms, some people started with 1 hectare. Now they are doing 5 hectares and 10 hectares, and they are employing other people.
This is amazing.
Now, for Poultry with Rosons, one of our partners, they go through 1 cycle internship program. After that, they are now establishing their own enterprises. And Roson, because of Happy, has now put together a processing unit. So he buys from these young people who did not have any knowledge in poultry or broiler production, who are now producing broiler and supplying Rosons, processing and also marketing to the domestic market, especially in the Accra and Eastern region area. And let me say that Happy is just 1.5 years old.
And you've made this huge
Yes,
impact.
yes. Happy is just
Wow.
1.5 years old. Now let us come to what impact have we also seen from eHappy. The first time I heard of the impact, I was shocked. And I said, then eHappy alone can transform Ghana. Because you have people who did not have knowledge in how they can use digital tools to provide services in the agricultural space. If I ask you, how many SMEs in Ghana have websites?
Not a lot of them.
Not a lot of them. But young people come for eHappy program and they are able to set up enterprises that are providing websites, developing websites for SMEs. I know one person who has done masters in gas and turbine. He's come back from, I think, Ukraine or so. He's been around for years without job and came for eHappy program. 2 weeks after the program, he has found job because of the skills that he acquired from here. So eHappy alone is a game changer for those of us who are in the agricultural space. eHappy alone is a game changer. And we are looking forward to scaling it beyond boundaries. And that is where, as a nation, we'll have the impact. Now, government is talking about 24-hour economy. The lowest hanging fruit for 24-hour economy is digital. Because digital doesn't sleep. It works 24 hours. So that's the lowest. So the digital tools and solutions must be scaled. If we are talking about 24-hour economy where factories are supposed to process for 24 hours, they are going to double or triple their output. Market becomes critical. And if markets become critical, can we use digital services to open up markets for them, including exports? So the e-learning center is a strategic partner and an anchor partner to 24-hour economy.
Okay.
So
sure.
you may not
Anyway.
see it, but those of us in the industry, that is how we see it. And we've already mentioned it to the 24-hour economy
So
secretariat.
e-learning is not all about supporting.
No,
online
I think
teaching and
you
learning.
are doing the
Yeah.
education side.
Sure.
And you are forgetting about the industry and the enterprise side. And that's one, the infrastructure and the resources that you have here can impact equally on industry as you impact on education. Without any additional retooling. Just the existing infrastructure and the competence of the people here can transform industries. I have looked at the structure. I've been here several times, and also as an ambassador, I keep telling people about the e-learning center and how it can transform their businesses. Agri Impact as an organization, we went and got professional firms to develop systems for us. It has taken us 1 year. Some they have finished, some they have not finished. I said, look, what is all this, excuse my nonsense about? The e-learning center is here and they have all the tools. Why don't we forget about these people after all the dollars that we have paid them and come to e-learning center? And surprisingly, in weeks, we have solutions. In weeks. And less than 25% of the cost that we incurred when we engaged the other enterprises. So Agri Impact as an organization has seen, not just benefited, we have seen how the e-learning center can transform SMEs in the country, using ourselves as an example. There are people who came here. One lady participated in the eHappy program. She was just doing feeding the chicken. She went back and she's now in charge of the data collection, processing, and analysis of the firm, a poultry firm. Just 1 week training at the e-learning center. Some are now building proposals. They are in charge of developing proposals for international NGOs just because they came for training here for 2 weeks. So that is the impact. So if we scale this, a lot of SMEs will benefit from the e-learning center.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Danakwe. He's the CEO of Agri Impacts Limited, and we've had a very interesting conversation. And an e-learning ambassador, of course. I won't forget to add that. But anyway, I am very amazed at the impact that the Happy program is making in Ghana, honestly, when it comes to inclusivity, let's say gender equality, creating jobs. I wonder the many lives that Agri Impact has touched, that the Happy program itself has touched, as well as industries. And for the e-learning center, I tell you, we don't only support online teaching and learning, we are also available to support industry persons as well. So take advantage of the facilities we have, state-of-the-art ones, modern. Sure. And that will be our conversation for today. And we'll bring you another episode where we'll tell you more about the Happy Project and its impact stories. My name is Mona Lisa Frimpong, and I was joined by Mr. Danakwe. He's an e-learning ambassador and also the CEO of Agri Impacts Limited. Have a nice day.